You know, Seb, I want to continue something that I was talking to Congresswoman Tenney about. You, as far as I can tell, seem to have pushed back against a lot of folks who've said that the Ukrainian-Russia conflict isn't something that we should really be concerned with. From what I gather, you've really made an argument that they would never dare do such a thing if Reagan was president, and what its importance is overall. Can you go a little bit further and explain why our effort is important here?
Well, very simply because the former KGB colonel who's a murdering thug is the president of Russia. And if you give him an inch, he takes a mile. He said that not only is Ukraine an illegitimate country, so are the Baltic states, and so is Poland, which, by the way, are NATO members. This man has been planning this since he became president 20 years ago. And the idea that you give in to bullies, it wasn't a good idea with Hitler. It's not a good idea with Vladimir Putin. And by the way, the American president in the 1990s signed something called the Budapest Memorandum, where we, along with the Brits, said if the Ukraine, which had the second greatest number of nuclear weapons after the Cold War, if it sacrifices that security and gives those nuclear weapons to Russia, we will vouchsafe their security. America, the UK, will protect Ukraine, even if they're not a member of NATO. We said that to Ukraine. Ukraine handed over its nuclear weapons to Russia, and what happened? We just let them get invaded under Obama and then under Biden. And the idea that people say, ooh, don't provoke Vladimir Putin, don't provoke the Kremlin. Would any conservative have the stones to say that to Ronald Reagan when he gave his speech, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall, or after he supplied stingers to the insurgents in Afghanistan to shoot down Soviet helicopters? I remember the good old days when all conservatives hated KGB colonels. I guess some people forgot the Cold War.
You know, I'm glad you brought up the Budapest Memorandum, because it's crucial. If we tell someone, here's the deal, you give up the nuclear weapons because we want to erase that threat, and in response we'll take care of you, and then we don't do that, why would anyone ever make a deal with us in the future? Because they're going to go, yeah, you didn't have Ukraine's back after they gave up their nuclear weapons for you. Granted, it was a few years ago, but you can't go back on your word like that, or they're going to say, no way, we'll never disarm again.
Absolutely. If America is meant to be different, if our word is meant to mean something, irrespective of who's in the White House, if we keep our promises, that is meant to mean something. Now don't get me wrong. President Trump and myself, we're not interventionists. We're not interested in deploying the 82nd Airborne to Kiev, and nor do I believe that, you know, pallets of cash should be sent to a regime that has some serious corruption issues. But killing Russians who've invaded an independent country is a good thing. We did it in Afghanistan in the 1980s. Right. We fought communists all across the American hemisphere. The idea that now it's okay to let nations get invaded, that's never a good idea.
Hey, Seb, I've less than a minute left, but in the latest batch of Twitter files that was released, we're finding out that the FBI actually paid Twitter $3.5 million. The folks are saying, hey, that was for their time. We were basically paying them for services. What do you think of the explanation from the FBI?
It's garbage. It's absolute garbage. Why is the FBI paying a private company that runs a social media platform to do anything? Are they trying to do an end run around the Constitution? Are they trying to censor Americans? Because it's interesting, the only people who got censored were conservatives. So is the FBI choosing a political side? I think we know that. Just look at what happened to General Flynn, Manafort, Steve Bannon, Navarro. The FBI has to be dismantled, and its missions have to be given to other federal agencies.
Yeah, they're actually pushing back hard, calling it all misinformation. I've never, at least I can't recall the FBI pushing back the way they did. Thanks, Seb. If I don't see you again, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Thank you, Sean. And don't forget, 7 p.m. Sunday, the reality check.
Always. It's on my DVR.